Yes. I also used Far From Home.
I thought you used 4th of July.
That was on Twitter.
Oh.
Okay. We're live. Say hello.
What's up, Internet?
All right, folks. This is a very oddly timed live stream. It's 6:04 Eastern Standard Time, but we're going to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home because tomorrow's the 4th of July. No one gives a shit, and the movie's fresh in our minds. So hello to everybody who's watching. We got Megatron Prime, Steel Super Saiyan, D. Lunar Fox, Joe Jessup, James Roa, Darth Scipio, Teresa Martin, our mod, Obi-Wan 27883, Darth Tico, Death Knight.
Wrong, by the way.
What?
He's Darth Tico's budget, or maybe that's why he got retracted. He's budget name wrong.
Oh well, Darth Tico's cool. And Black Angus reviews. Okay, we already got a super chat from Logan Michael Anti Funko Pops. It says, "Can't stick around, but Popke." Well, Logan Michael, thank you very much. So we are here to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home, the newest Marvel flick in the MCU, and the most Spider-Man movie ever.
Ever?
I'm giving it a meh. Is it great? Is it terrible?
But ever?
Find out.
What was Amazing Spider-Man? What was that? The Amazing Spider-Man was the Andrew Garfield ones, because I feel like the second one of that was that is the most meh Spider-Man.
Like if we're gonna rank it right now, Spider-Man Far From Home is not as good as the Raimi trilogy. Maybe is it as good as Spider-Man 3?
Yes.
I'm torn. Fine. If I'm gonna rank it as a movie, it's better than Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
But if it's a better Spider-Man movie,
okay, that's fair. I mean,
I'm gonna be fair. I don't dislike this movie at all, but I'm gonna be more critical on different levels. So let's start talking about the movie itself, right? Or do you have a better way to start? Because I don't usually do good synopses.
Are we going full spoilers?
Yeah. So folks, this is going to be a full spoiler review. Here's the I'm frozen. There we go. So should you go see this? If you don't spoil this, check it out. It's a pretty solid flick. It's fun. It's a little light. It doesn't really build up much of the MCU outside of a couple things.
It's a good transition piece. It'll make you laugh. Probably won't make you cry. You'll probably like it. There's not a lot of things to like despise about it.
It's not bad. It's just very average in parts.
Yeah, there are things that I don't like, but I don't think I hated anything about it. I don't think there's any one part where I was like, except for that one scene. We'll talk about that.
Averages it pretty much averages out like right in the middle, and then it has moments of greatness but never really terrible moments. You won't roll your eyes. The performances are good. Zendaya's okay. I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you going to give it for the early people that don't want to watch the
I think I'm going to stick with because of that ending, I think I'm going to go with a 7.
Yeah. Okay, so I was originally going to give it a 6.5, and then the first post-credit sequence happened, and it jumped up a point.
Yeah.
But upon further review, this movie is a solid 7. So 7 good enough for you to go see in theaters?
Good. 7's usually seen in theaters. That's usually the low threshold of a see in theaters. The 6 is like, does it have really incredible special effects? No. Okay, skip it in the theaters.
Yeah, the effects are pretty bad at certain points. Like Mysterio flying around looked really dope.
That looked bad, but the flip side of that is then you had the weird virtual world building that was fucking brilliant.
We'll get into that in a minute. That was the best part of almost any Spider-Man film.
That was really good. And I will say that's something we can get as we get into it. That's one of the things you didn't see Spider-Verse, right?
No.
Okay,
on principle.
So that's that reminded me, the way they played with that reminded me of some of the ways they played with reality in that movie. And that for me was one of the highlights of that film as well. Even though it was animated, I felt like Into the Spider-Verse, one of the really cool things about it from a filmic perspective was that it maximized the medium. Okay. Was like you have this animated option to go and you're mashing realities together. You have so much that you can do with this. And I felt like they maximized that potential with that. And I feel the same about the way they did this. That said, I hope this is not the only time we see this. I don't think it is. I think this introduction of this type of technology is something we're going to see in Marvel moving forward.
Probably. The thing is, okay, so Amazing Spider-Man 67 and 68 is almost exactly what we saw, because Spider-Man gets trapped in a theme park by Mysterio, and you think Mysterio is giant and all this shit, and eventually he breaks out, whatever. So that was cool for me to see, because they do, the thing about these newer ones is they do classic hallmarks, like callbacks to old Spider-Man stuff, but then at the same time, it's a completely different character. So it's like, I'm happy that we get those old things, but like I said to you last night, if you could blend moments from this, moments with the old school stuff, you'd have the perfect Spider-Man flick.
Because I do think that is one of the weird things about creating these characters as new ones, is is sometimes those nods to the canon material feel good because you're like, oh yeah, they get it. But then at other times it just draws to highlight the fact that this is not that it's something different. You're like, well, you're nodding to this thing, but the rest of these things are wrong. So it's sort of I think a duality sometimes.
Real quick, Obi-Wan Kenobi says, hello there.
Hello there.
It's a good meme. Laser Pants Toy Junk says, I thought it was okay. I'm not going to read the next part of your super chat real quick until let me just get it out of the way. All right, folks, we're going to get into spoilers in 3, 2, 1. All right, Laser Pants Toy Junk says, I thought it was okay. I loved the return of J. Jonah Jameson. I did too. I cheered in a movie like it was a WrestleMania.
It happened. Yeah. I was there.
Yeah, you were right next to me. So
I haven't cheered like that since Thanos punched Captain Marvel in the face.
True. By the way, cheer for that. If you're worried about Captain Marvel in this movie, there are many callbacks, but they make fun of her at the same time.
They did. Well, they only actually reference her by name once. Yeah. They make fun of her, and then the other stuff it references the stuff the world that we learned from her. You never see her. She's not important. She's not relevant. This
is a better Captain Marvel movie than the Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So let's go from the beginning, and then we'll talk about the more spoilery aspects because there's no reason to give them out of context thing. So the movie starts out with
in space. It doesn't.
No, it's not. Look at this.
I lied.
Is this real quick? Is this movie better than Endgame?
No.
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 Yeah, I don't think so either. So this movie starts out with Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You," which is a very '90s song, which is awesome.
What happened? Wait, there was something right before that, right?
No, it showed a picture of Iron Man, and then it went, and I will always love you.
No, there was something right before that, because then we transitioned into that.
Oh,
it was Nick Fury and what's her face in the desert.
So the movie starts out with Nick Fury and Maria Hill, and they meet Mysterio. So if you've seen the trailer, that scene where the Earth monster pops up, that's how the movie starts. And then Whitney Houston starts.
And then because they just start the song and then they go into the pictures of him, and then which transitions smoothly into the high school update thing.
And so this movie does explain how the blip works. So when Thanos snapped you out of existence, you basically came back and were treated as the same age legally. So for example, Flash Thompson is 21. But they said he's only 16 because he's pre-blip or whatever. So
yeah, well, because he got blipped, so he went away and came back, so he can't. So even though, like by his ID, it says he's whatever age, he still hasn't physically or mentioned nothing else has happened in his life for those 5 years. And hi, Joshua Tika. The one thing that was weird to me though was the fact that people who didn't blip, who then aged and were older and had gone through puberty and stuff, were still in school. Like, we saw them rebuild the world. Like, it wasn't perfect, but wouldn't they have finished school? These are now like adults. Shouldn't they be out in the world like this? Brad, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Brad is legitimately, physically, mentally, etc. 21 now. So isn't that kind of weird then that he's trying to hit MJ?
Well, no. Remember, he was a little kid. I think Brad
like a younger. Was Brad like so now he's supposed to be just pubescent?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Was Brad in the other movie?
No, he wouldn't have been. And because they don't really explain. They don't look at the Thanos snap or the blip is what it's called. Is an awesome concept, but the execution is a little wonky. We're at a point where it's like, we have to keep making excuses for something. Look, at Endgame had an epic ending. These next couple of movies, I feel like you're going to have to explain a lot.
I think if I've got Marvel now, I'm going to make a spin-off with possibly entirely new characters, possibly not even a superhero movie that takes place during said blip. Because that's an interesting world that we didn't get to see enough of.
That was my biggest complaint with Endgame. I wanted to see, so this movie, when they're in the high school, they're doing like that high school news, and they're showing clips of like the blip happening.
And the boom was in the shot. That just killed me.
Yeah, that was funny. But I wanted to see like, oh my God, a pilot blipped out of the sky and a plane crashed, and this happened, and that happened in Avengers. Like the part with Ant-Man's daughter, or no, wait, not Ant-Man's daughter. The way that Ant-Man came back was cool to see the world, but I wanted to see the world in more of a chaos state than essentially just like this happened 5 years ago and now we're all better. Yeah. So the movie starts like that. It's funny. That's the one thing. This movie's almost too funny at times, where it's just like,
what is happening? Sorry, I made noise. I liked how it. I enjoyed the humor in the beginning, like in that whole scene and that whole sequence coming in. I think what the one thing they did, it wasn't balanced well. I think one thing they did is right away off the bat, they sort of assaulted you with a bunch of humor in the first like 20 minutes, just to be like, this is a light movie. This is we want you to understand what to expect, and then chill out with it a little bit too. So it was fine, but then it was sort of weird. It's like, all right, we got to solve it with humor, and now there wasn't. And then it also feels weird too because there's tons of moments now of we've been laughing our asses off for like 5 straight minutes, and now 20 minutes of nothing really funny happens, and you're like, this is weird.
Yeah,
So.
you hated some of the Mysterio parts.
I had some feelings.
Hold on. So Obi-Wan 2783 sent in a super chat that says, "Was Spider-Man Far From Home better, worse, or as good as Black Panther?" Party boob. Sorry, party boob. That's how you do it. What would you say? I kind of like.
They're very different.
Yeah, they are very different.
They're almost hard to compare because there are things I really liked about Black Panther that really worked for me. As a different type of movie. Like Black Panther works for me so much better as a movie outside the MCU than it does as a movie inside the MCU. Because what it really gets short shrifted as a piece of the MCU is just the black superhero film. And when you look at it through that lens, because a lot of people took a look at it and they're like, well, this is the black superhero film. Therefore, it's about blackness and black culture. And it had a lot of good allegory. The allegory wasn't about African countries or black culture, anything like that. The allegory in that film was entirely about the structure of government, the nature of government, which was interesting. I really enjoyed that. But it got, I think, you lost a lot of that because it was so framed in the idea of like, well, we're black people and therefore that's somehow the relevant part of this. And yeah, so that one for me, again, if you take that out of the MCU, if it's a standalone film and this is what it is, I think it's a much more interesting film. Killmonger is sexy as fuck, so there's that. I didn't have the same eye candy in this movie. These are things that are important to me. Having attractive people on my screen is very important to me.
Well, we have Scarlett Johansson, so I'm okay with this.
She's dead now. Sorry.
The real Scarlett Johansson's dead. I didn't say Black Widow. Or like shit. No, she's not.
Other way around. Yeah, other way around.
Black Widow,
the character, is totally still alive. ScarJo dead. Spoilers.
Great.
Yeah.
No. I mean, this movie's very like not offensive. It's very plain, but it's very not offensive.
And I have to say that is now I don't know how much was written, how much was filmed, etc. before any of the Captain Marvel shit all went down, but like the lack of wokeness, and there's even a joke, like an anti-woke joke in it too, which is nice. I always like when they poke it. That's actually a great thing about Shazam, by the way. They did this whole little scene that just totally satirizes wokeness. Yeah, so the lack of the identity politics and all that bullshit creeping its way in was refreshing. It was nice. It was nice to see after everything that happened and all the concerns of like Marvel's going woke. As of right now, jury's still out on that.
Yeah, they didn't go woke. What they did is they basically played it so safe that this movie, you could almost, with the exception of the post-credit sequence, you could almost skip this whole movie. Like this doesn't really, because this is like we're living in a world post-Iron Man, and the whole opening and basically Peter's cross he bears is like, can I be the next Tony Stark? And now this is where like if the movie is a 7 for like a quality of film, and if it's a Spider-Man movie, I'm giving it a 4, is because they fundamentally don't understand Spider-Man. Now it's my favorite character. Yeah, I'm going to be a little biased, but like the great power and great responsibility of Spider-Man doesn't exist anymore. He has so much. Tony Stark bequeaths him those glasses. It's called Edith. Even Dead, I'm a Hero.
I did. That was one of my favorites. I loved that. Even Dead, I am the hero.
Yeah. So Tony Stark's glasses go to Peter Parker, and that's one of the key plot points of this movie. But basically, Peter's journey is to try to fill the boots of Iron Man, which I don't like because to me it feels like a meta statement of here is the MCU's new hero. And you know, Spider-Man's so popular because he's relatable. They take away his relatable nature. It's not like he's the everyman who's dealing with this and that. Because like, you know, I don't have a billionaire leaving me access to his whole whole arsenal. Like they give a 16-year-old kid armed weapons. Those drones could come down. He almost kills a kid in his high school.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, Brad deserved it though.
Brad totally deserved it.
Yeah, he took a picture of him in a bathroom. Well,
with his pants down.
With his pants off.
Yeah. No, definitely deserved it.
Get one of those. This is really good. Make sure you get one.
I will. Thank you. Feel free to have any of mine. You can have the IPAs out of the variety pack that I got.
Thanks.
Since you find them highly non-offensive.
It's not that I want high alcohol content beer.
I understand.
Okay. Anyway, we have a show.
I'm a small person. I'm a relative small person.
Yeah, most people are compared to me. We got a hashtag Thanos did nothing wrong. So they don't. Okay, so this movie they talk about the Avengers being dead or gone quite a bit.
Yeah.
They also treat it like Captain America died.
Well, I guess as far as the world's concerned, he did because he goes away and he doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if, old Steve Rogers is going around like, I'm Steve Rogers. And who knows? He comes back as like 80 years old. By the time this movie comes out, he might be. Like, we don't know we don't know his life. Maybe he has cancer.
I don't think he could have cancer because of the super soldier serum.
Shh. Maybe it's super soldier cancer.
Super soldier
it's cancer of the super soldier.
It's prostate cancer.
Prostate
That'll
cancer.
get any man.
That's right. Nobody's immune. No one is safe.
Nor are you.
From prostate cancer?
Yeah.
No, I am.
No. That's not how science works.
That's-
This movie, though.
Science, which is
that was great.
That was one of my favorite recurring tropes. Is the one teacher, because the whole thing is on the science trip. And I was like, this was a crazy trip. We had no science on this trip. So the one science teacher, though, his whole shtick is like, when they're like, what do you think is causing? He's like, as a man of science, witches.
Yeah. That dude was awesome. The black dude. What was his name? Tony something? Tony Grooves or Smooth?
Oh, the actor?
Yeah.
Like TJ Smooth or something.
He was really, really good. He was
cool.
like, okay, so there's a lot of humor, but the performances actually make it work. The Ned Leeds stuff was pretty funny.
Ned,
Asian
yeah.
friend, yeah.
Oh my God. That was
a nice callback to the comics because in the books, Betty Brant works at the Daily Bugle. She's an older woman, and she dates Peter Parker. And so in the early books, he falls in love with her. Spider-Man couldn't save her brother, who's a criminal, and then she has a vendetta against Spider-Man. And then eventually Ned Leeds, who's like another reporter or photographer, ends up marrying Betty Brant, and there's like a whole piece of drama. Spider-Man's really like a romance drama underneath it all. So if anybody ever watches these movies and goes, "There's too much romance," the books are full of it. Like Mary Jane, Peter, Gwen Stacy love triangles, a thing, all this stuff. So it's but anyway, the Ned Leeds, Betty Brant stuff is really funny. They did a good job.
That was fun.
So basically, in this movie, Ned and Betty are on they're in love essentially this whole trip, and they get back after Peter and Mary Jane get together, or not Mary Jane, excuse me, Zendaya, MJ. Michelle. Ned and Betty break up, and it's really funny. And then Happy and Aunt May. He's like, yeah, we're dating. Well, we're not dating.
We're not dating. It's complicated. It's only you guys need to be straight with it. For a lot of lies. Like
the movie ends like. By the way, folks, for anyone out there, sorry for the the discrepancy in like coherentness of the not cogent. Anyway, the point is, this movie technically has a final swing, so they brought back an element of the Raimi flicks because remember, he goes swinging.
Swinging.
Now I will say this: if the old Spider-Man movies could be summed up in one word as epic, this movie doesn't really have that same feel.
It is not epic.
It is not an epic film, and it really kind of saddens me because
sorry.
I was just saying, like, one of the coolest parts is like how in the end of Spider-Man 2, he does this great thing, but then he ends up alone in an apartment. But then he goes off for this big final swing and has this moment. This movie never has any like grandeur to it. Even the final battle is very small, but not in a good way.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is they have so contextualized Peter Parker in the context of the greater Avengers universe. And that is an error that I think that they made. And we'll see how they go moving forwards now. Because one of the things I did like about this, and the thing I think that is worth seeing about this, because you were talking about how you could skip it. And yes, but I think one of the pieces of value you get out of it is the way they've matured Peter Parker as a character, which was good. They make him a little more actualized in terms of his intelligence, in terms of his owning his power and his strength and his ability to be something beyond the suit that Tony Stark designed for him.
He's trying to be Spider-Man in this movie, and it's actually working.
He's not Spider-Boy anymore.
I'll put it like this: if this is an odd thing to say, I should have said it in the non-spoiler section. Give the next movie your watch. Like if you want to skip this one, go watch the online when they put the post-credit sequence online and go see the third one, because the third one's when the shit's gonna hit the fan. Yeah, that's when it's gonna get amazing. No pun intended. Like it's gonna be really good.
I hope too. What they do with that movie forward too is that they pull him out of the Avengers universe a little more. That we're not so much in this big world, because that's the whole thing that. The end of Endgame gave them an opportunity to end that. And so in some ways, it's felt like an epilogue. And I think they still have the chance to move past that world and to have like a time of peace where Spider-Man can still be fighting these because the whole thing, it's these threats. Because if you have a threat that's threatening the entire world, then all the Avengers are going to become a part of this. Nick Fury's going to be a part of this.
Because they kept asking, where are the Avengers? Where are the Avengers?
Yeah. So the weird thing is that if you actually have a slower scale threat, you can make a Spider-Man movie feel more epic, because now it's going to be a struggle of Spider-Man and the baddie.
Remember, he wanted that because he says, I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He reiterates that point.
Exactly. I want to be the guy that's protecting the neighborhood. I want to be your your neighborhood watch on steroids.
I do love that line from Infinity War. You can't protect the neighborhood if there isn't one. I know. And Iron Man's like, what? He's like, oh, never mind. I missed that movie. See, when you'll go back and you'll watch this movie, if you do, and then you go back and watch the other Avengers movies, there is so much missing that will never come back. We've been given we've reached the top of the mountain. The story's over. Tony Stark was the main event. from 08 to 2019.
And that was that was a great misdirection, I think, by Marvel, where they kept. It was weird because they kept pushing a lot in the advertising in the years leading up to Infinity War and Endgame that Cap is the guy and Cap is the leader and Cap is this. So you're set up to expect that Endgame is the end, that Cap is the one who's going to have to die then to end it and move into the next phase.
I thought he was going to be dead in both of those movies.
And then there was just something about before Endgame, there was something that sort of made me feel like, oh no, I know what's actually going to happen. Maybe they both did, but it's like I knew that you realize as you're going into it and as the way they've built this entire thing. Tony Stark is the main character of everything. He is the hero of all of it. He is the leader, and so therefore he has to be the one to die.
I was kind of sad when he did bite the bullet, but I told you this the other day. When Captain America survives that final battle, I thought to myself, he survives, and that was the character I was locked into. Like I had this discussion with it was either Dion or it wasn't you. You're not Dion. I was like, I think the MCU
Hooray for me.
Yeah, well, that would make you my best friend, but.
That would be a thing that would exist in my life.
Yeah, you'd be a large black man.
Well, large in some respects.
He'll never watch the stream, so fuck it. Anyway,
huzzah!
Yeah, thanks. He's gonna be so happy that you said that. Point I want to make
about a small penis on your stream.
Point I want to make is completely lost. I'll read the super
sorry,
chat.
I broke everything.
Mega Jetty 1 says, either of you free for a watch party sometime next week? I don't know. I know. So today's Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, time is off. So next Wednesday, I got a live stream planned with our listener, Salvador. He requested it a while ago. He's a patron, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a discussion. Eventually, next Friday, I'm busy. I got a business meeting and something else. So I can't promise next week, but if you ask me, if you shoot me another message, maybe on social media, I'll see what's going on, depending on the day. But next Thursday, we'll have a podcast. So I can't promise you anything, but I don't want to tell you no.
Depends on the day and the movie. I'm going to say most likely not. So there's this thing called PNAS. Post-NAC antisocial syndrome. Post-nationals antisocial syndrome. I made it up. Shocking.
You couldn't even get it right the first time.
Well, no, because NAC is another thing. Nobody knows what the fucking NAC is. I'm not going to go through the 8,000-year explanation of what a fucking NAC is.
Thank you. My audience doesn't care.
You're welcome. But when I get back from this trip, basically, I am going to hate the world and not want to speak to anybody. I have a feeling.
She already does.
I have a weird feeling that this antisocial episode is going to last longer than a normal one because of reasons. But yeah, odds are I'm not going to want to talk to anybody for like a month. But hit me up and we'll see.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't promise it based on the schedule. You got my comic updates, so you know it's essentially done. But videos and stuff, I'm trying to do a Spider-Man month. This movie was good enough to warrant a Spider-Man month. Okay. So I want to do like, hey, stories you should read for the build-up to Far From Home, or top Spider-Man video games. Plus, if you're a patron, I want to do a very in-depth Spider-Man podcast. It's a one-man commentary, so it'll be fun if you like the stuff. Because like I could sit and talk to you till the cows come home, and you just be like, okay,
I would
exactly
listen.
like that.
I would absorb it.
I'll send you the MP3.
Hooray. Yeah. I probably won't listen to that. Well, I live in LA. There's traffic. Yeah. So we're getting close to sports ball season, so we'll start listening. That's okay. Podcasts again.
They're fine. The Chris Killa 100 says they really didn't do anything for Uncle Ben, which was really frustrating, especially for the freaking Mysterio Spider-Man film. Okay, that was did we not have this discussion?
Yes.
Okay, so Mysterio visuals were on point. 10 out of 10. They looked great. Now, when it showed him like hovering around, it looked kind of hokey. And you could argue, well, maybe it's meant to look that way because it's a projection. No, they couldn't CGI. Like Mysterio looked weightless at times and not in a good way. So, so there's a scene where Spider-Man goes to meet Nick Fury at a building in Germany. And I'm like, this is a setup, this is a trap, and it was a trap. It was all one big Mysterio hallucination. And what they did is they went like, if you played the Spider-Man game on PS1 or the one on PS2, they went full hallucination. We're talking Spider-Man got tiny, Mysterio got giant, all the way around. There's a part where he went into his fishbowl helmet, but then it was a snow globe. It was visually, one of the coolest things in the MCU. Like next to the scene on Titan from Infinity War, where Doctor Strange opens the portals and Spider-Man's jumping through and he does the middle finger, Star-Lord. Cool. Like this is up there. Like there are moments of greatness in this movie, but overall it's not a great movie. If that makes sense.
That's reasonable. I'm getting another beer.
Yeah, grab me another one. Grab me a Voodoo Ranger, please.
Voodoo Ranger.
Stronger. So now back to your point though, the Chris Killa. With Uncle Ben, they had a moment to do something amazing in this movie. There's a scene where during the hallucination, Spider-Man sees the gravestone of Tony Stark, and a zombie Iron Man pops out of the grave, and that was really cool. We're talking like full armor, but it's like cut, and it's a skeleton on the other half, and he's crawling out, and he's rotting. It really looks fantastic, but it should have been Uncle Ben, because, like I said, if you want the truest form of the character, they took away why he's Spider-Man. You know, the responsibility, the sense of guilt, all that stuff. And like Aunt May's dating Happy Hogan and shit, so you'll never hear about Uncle Ben, because like it almost is. I should almost just say, don't worry about Uncle Ben anymore, and that's not a good thing. I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but she's going to date Happy. They're going to make a whole thing. She's completely over the death of her husband, like, because you made Aunt May so young. And I'm not saying that young married couples don't care about each other, but Uncle Ben and Aunt May were married for like 50 years. There's a different level there.
Oh yeah, that's something else.
Aunt May and Uncle Ben were just like, meh, we were married.
Because at that point, when you lose that person, you don't go out looking for somebody new. When you're that young, there's the whole trope of like, well, that he would want me to move on with my life. And
sometimes it doesn't work, especially when married couples. Those were my grandpa's last words to my grandma. Don't marry anybody else. Then she found a guy that took, like, they dated for like 20 years, and she's like, I swore to my husband I'd never get remarried. So he's dead, and my grandma's still alive, and she could have gotten remarried, but no.
Sucks.
Yeah,
well, gotten all that money too.
Old school. That dude was rich too. Anyway,
this is like a bacony aftertaste to it. I'm into it. That's
cool. Save me one of those. That's a 6-pack, right? Okay, cool. No, but they really did squander Uncle Ben. Like, I almost want to tell you to let Uncle Ben go, but it's not an excuse for the movie, so don't take it. Don't sing it. I mean, you can sing one more word. Oh. Copyright. Oh, my video with Ethan got demonetized because he sang the song, Michael Jackson song, Human Nature.
Ethan. He can't not. I want to write songs with Ethan.
I want to hang out. Well, I've hung out with Ethan. You have to. We were there together.
Yeah, I was there.
It was nice because when we were at the bar, I was drinking, and he's like, let's draw. So it was me, Ethan, and Anna. I was like, oh my God, I'm drawing a DC Comics artist.
I remember.
I was too drunk to put in efforts. I just drew Spider-Man's face.
That was because you guys all had that drawing connection. You kept talking about it. That was inspired me to, take up drawing myself.
I should. If you really are serious, there's a great book I want to recommend.
I mean, I would be interested because I would like to be good at it. It'd be cool. We could talk about that, but like your beautiful self, your beautiful portrait came out of that, that inspiration.
I will honor you, and I will frame that forever.
Hashtag
do you want to show it?
Yeah.
All right. Let me read the next super chat. By the way, folks, we are going to get back into the movie. Sorry, I've been hanging out with Jessi for 5 days.
Too long.
Yeah.
I'm rubbing off on him. He's getting stupider.
It's true. She's no, but I'm gonna have a good time. So Nefarious Technology, who seems to be one of your listeners, has a question. Says, are you guys restarting the 10-day challenge because of the tragedy with Anna?
No, it's just off for this year. So I'll stream when I can when I'm here, but it's just it got interrupted. So the whole point of the 10-day live streaming challenge is that I do it when I'm here, as part of nationals. But it's not, and it's not only. I could pick it up now that we've done our respects and whatnot and things like that. It didn't feel right to do it for a few days after that. But
yeah. So for those out there, because we had a couple people that were curious about our timetable. So the tragedy with Anna's family happened Sunday, correct?
Sunday, I believe. Yeah.
So it was Sunday. The Fandom Menace channels decided to take a 24-hour silence. So we went blackout in respect for Anna. And then we also decided to do the High Council next week because we have a big announcement, but we didn't feel it would be right to make this big announcement with what happened because Anna's just part of the family. So now, yesterday we put out videos and stuff like that. Yeah. So expect the High Council next week.
I worked. You guys put out videos.
That's true. Well, this is my job.
Yeah, so. I did my secondary job that I don't like as much, but
well, this one's cooler. We have an audience.
It is cooler. People care about me. Well, sorry. Fewer people hate. I'm gonna say plenty of people in the fencing world care about me. Fewer people hate me on the internet, which is a weird thing to say. A smaller percentage of the internet hates me than the fencing world.
Well, speaking of hate, let me show the audience your drawing talent. So this is me.
Ouch. I think I did a really good job.
I mean, at least you put in like teeth.
I made sure your hands were gigantic.
The hands are. See, they're like the size of your face. The cool part is if we were at like odds, I could literally just keep you at arm's length.
I have feet.
Yeah, no, but
I can't lift my leg up. I'm gonna flash your live stream, and then you'll really get demonetized.
Yeah, but think of the.
But you get all the super chats.
Yeah, the super chats.
All the super chats until we shut it down.
Like,
woo!
Like, Jeff, how'd you make $8,000 an hour? Well, Jessi, Milestone over here.
Totally unrelated to the fact that Jessi was never seen again on the internet.
Sure, I would hire you if we could make $8,000 an hour.
Right.
My audience, you're That'd be amazing. I tried to think of the most family-friendly word that Google won't pick up on. I think I said "ooh-ah." Like
my audience, your.
Yeah.
This is how business works. That's going on Twitter. This is how business works. My audience, your who.
You can quote me. I mean, you can honestly quote me. There are a lot of people watching. I can't deny it. So. By the way, Craig Forrest, thank you very much for your nice compliment. He says, Jeff, love your commentary vids. Always on point. Keep up the great work. So I appreciate that, Craig. Speaking of commentaries, when I get back home, I'm going to do some Spider-Man commentaries. I'm dying to watch the old ones.
One more thing for Chris, Nefarious Technology, he was asking. So other reasons too. Not going to continue that for now. I will do something else later, some other fun challenge, so you can win shirts and stuff if that's what you were here for. But that's all. Because I'm doing my own shit this week too. Hooray!
Let's be fair. We haven't done a lot of work. Been a lot of.
It's been a lot of no. We've had a lot of therapy time.
That's true.
We've had a lot of therapy.
We found each other in
therapy.
Your tragedy.
I found myself right here
in a bottle. Yeah. I actually knew who I was the whole time.
I know exactly who I am. I just don't know what I'm doing about it.
Black Angus Reviews, who we'll meet tomorrow.
Hooray!
Says we need spider trans. It is.
You're doing this.
Sorry.
It is time, bigots.
Thank you. I don't clap.
I think that's going to be like my SJW, my Social Justice Wednesday video next week, maybe. I'll be like, why not spider trans? Thank you very much.
Okay, so I will say this. The trans character that they're trying to talk about, let's do character. Because
trans character?
Yeah. Remember, there was basically an extra that said 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. I saw an article before we left. I don't even care. Like, it's not a video topic, but there's a trans character, and they say 1 or 2 lines. So I will say this, too. If you're looking for traditional masculinity, Spider-Man tries to go for it. He tries to do the sweet thing with MJ. He doesn't back down. He gets propositioned by an older woman, so that's kind of cool. There's all kinds of stuff. So, like, again, I'm not making excuses for Disney or Sony or Marvel or any of this shit, but if I'm being honest, which is really what our channels are based on, there's really not a lot of woke moments with the character of Spider-Man. The cast, like his high school cast or friends, they're in it, but it's really his story. Like, it's really Spider-Man's story.
Ooh, actually, that's my entire Social Justice Wednesday next week is going to be about the missed opportunity to have those teachers be gay lovers.
The teachers were awesome, by the way.
They were.
Okay, so the bearded teacher played by Martin Starr was probably my favorite because the line, okay, so his wife faked being snapped away at the blip, and they had a funeral. The funeral was real and all this shit.
We had a fake funeral. Well, the funeral was real.
Look, this movie is funny. Like, some of the humor really hits.
Yeah,
it's good. Do you think this movie has a lot of repeat value? Because it's so light.
It is really light. I think it can be fun if you have time in between, or you're like drinking a lot. The funny stuff will be funny again.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things you watch a bunch of times because one of the things most fun about it is definitely the humor. So if you watch it a bunch of times, that's gonna get stale.
I want to reiterate the point for all the Spider fans out there. There is no epic Spider-Man, like, heroic moment. He is very much...
Okay, it's not a heroic moment, but it was the moment that, like I had I had sexual feelings in this moment.
Your Peter Tingle?
When my Peter Tingle got strong in this moment.
What was that one?
When he grabs Mysterio's real arm right before he shoots him.
That was cool.
That was hot.
Okay, so Spider Sense is now a thing in the MCU.
Yeah, Spidey Sense.
So if you hated the fact that he didn't have it, he now has it because Aunt May calls it his Peter Tingle. Happy Hogan calls it the Peter Tingle. But here's the thing too.
It's cute how it's like a puberty thing. Like,
yeah,
you've gone through puberty.
That's kind of like how the X-Men are. Your powers manifest in puberty.
Yeah.
So I mean that's logical in terms of like how Marvel would do it. But there's no visual or audio representation. He just has super reflexes. So like remember in the first Spider-Man when the Flash is about to punch him and he gets a lay of the room with like the fly buzzing and the spitball, and it's really cool, like a cartoon how his head would buzz. No, he just stops the gun like that. So
I liked that.
I liked it. It worked because that is a positive. That's a small element that built through the whole film. It's like Peter Tingle, it's a joke. Peter Tingle, it's a joke.
Peter is real when he like knows where the drones are. That actually I had a moment where that reminded me a little bit of Luke wearing the helmet with the blast shield on the Falcon in the first movie. I had a moment like right there where I was like, it's that. You just know you
Can I
feel
just
it.
point out that I love that in our group of friendship, we didn't even say what movie it is. It's
Yeah,
just the
Luke with the
first
Blast
movie, Luke with the Blast Shield. All right, we have the right audience. Yeah.
We do. It's great. No, but I got that. That reminded me a bit of that. And that was, I it's funny too, because as an athlete, it's like very much, there's something relatable in that, like it's getting in the zone. So that's, I don't know if anyone else relates to that in that kind of way or anything, but it's kind of, I always liked, and that's one thing I've always related to about characters who have those kinds of powers. That there's a sense element, there's a sensory element to it, because that for me is just like that's what it's like. It's sometimes you get in the zone, which makes it cooler than when you're doing your sport, I fence, and you get in the zone. You're like, I got my Peter Tingle going. I will wreck you. I've never said that before in my life.
You have in front of a lot of people.
Now.
Thanks. I might delist this video now because you're embarrassing me. Come back with another beer. No, I'm good. I just cracked it. Don't worry, it's not that kind of party yet. But I actually, TJ Jr. or T Jr. has a great a point. Is it odd that I'm more interested in the documentaries of what Peter watched on the airplane, channel surfing? I would actually buy. Okay, Disney Plus. Put those on there. Was it The Life and Times of Tony Stark?
Life and Times of Tony Stark. I would watch that.
What was the other one though? About
fuck out of that. Are you kidding?
Wakanda in America or something?
It was like, where is Wakanda?
Where is Wakanda?
Where is Wakanda?
There were a lot of visual gags. You can tell that like they really planned the world building out in subtle ways to where it feels more natural. You're not going to get name drops anymore. Like I know that. Oh, they do reference the Silver Surfer in this movie. That was really cool.
They also referenced Star Wars in this movie, which I thought was
many a time.
Well, several.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. Well, here's a nerd complaint. Okay, so remember in Civil War, remember that really old movie, The Empire Strikes Back? And then in the next one, he's like a huge Star Wars fan. It's like he became a Star Wars fan in a calendar year. It's kind of whatever, but it was funny.
Worst thing though, that is the one thing about that though is it always, when they make those references, it always reminds me that Disney owns Star Wars,
and it makes me sad.
Exactly.
I remember when Star Wars was great. Don't get me started, because if I have 2 more beers and you ask me about Star Wars, but I remember a time when Star Wars was good and pure, and the worst thing was Hayden Christensen.
And Hayden Christensen got a pass for me because I hit puberty the same time that Attack of the Clones came out.
Well, there's nothing wrong.
No, this is legitimately like
how you justify things.
No, it was just in high school. What is this movie? Okay, who was the main guy? And if I was not attracted to him, I had no interest in the movie anymore. Also, Adam Carter, was that an M15? Loves me. Love you too, man.
And I just wanted to say that what was about cracking open the cold one? There we go. Yeah, John Silver, cracking open a cold one does feel good.
It does.
That's how I want to spend my 4th of July.
Cracking open cold ones.
Many a cold ones.
You can do that.
I know. We're gonna buy more.
In fact, you have no obligation to be sober prior to me being done with work tomorrow. Also, I have no qualms with if they try to keep me late tomorrow, being like, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'll just like do something. Maybe I'll throw up on a strip.
You should just call in right now. I got hit by a car and I'm sick. I'm coughing and my leg fell off. Oh, don't worry. It'll be attached next time you see me. But until then, I need time off. It worked once.
It shouldn't be a long day tomorrow, though.
That's cool. Today was way shorter than I thought.
Yeah. No, I'm amazing. It's because of me. I'm amazing.
So back to this film. Our character, the Amazing Spider-Man. So they're going on a summer vacation as a school trip, because they say my summer vacation multiple times.
They do. It's definitely a summer school trip, which is like
weird,
but I guess
because when I was a kid, I wanted to get the hell out of there. Like I was a good student, but I did not want to see those kids.
No, those were supposed to be spring break trips.
Yeah,
and even then, I was like, meh.
Yeah, I went on spring break 3 out of the 4 years in college. But so back to the movie. I'm sorry, folks. So they get out there. They get to Venice first. A big water monster appears, Hydro Man, essentially, because they don't refer to him. They just call him elementals.
He's one of the elementals.
Yeah.
Side note, confirmed 11 o'clock call.
Confirmed?
Confirmed.
Cool. We got a lot of time. 29 hours to party. Could you imagine if we went all 29 hours?
No, I can't. 12 is usually my soft limit.
Well, we can try. We'll probably fall asleep outside again and then sleep in a car. That's a true story, folks. We slept in my car the other night.
No, the other morning.
The other morning, yeah.
The other morning. It was like 6.
We stayed up till it was 5.
It was 5:45 by the time we got to the car, because I was like, once we get set up in the car before sleeping, I'm gonna text Mary, and I was like, 6 o'clock is a reasonable time to be like, I am sick.
Yeah. So we slept in my car there.
The rest of that statement is, I am sick of refereeing. I will not be there today.
Well, you didn't. It's good.
I didn't. It was great.
It was a nap. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Back to Spider-Man. I feel like these people are like, "Are you going to talk about Spider-Man?" Believe me, I'm going to get super nerdy. I'm going to do another video. This is just a live stream review for the people who want to know if you should go see the movie. If
We're
you're joining us
also,
late.
side note, going to talk more about Spider-Man on my channel in like, I don't know, maybe half an hour or so.
Yeah, so make sure you're subscribed to Mindless Entertainment. That is Jessi Milestone's Entertainment.
Yeah, way to not plug me until now, until like 45 minutes of the live stream.
You realize Spider-Man is my favorite character.
Okay,
I'm
Jesus.
super
You like
excited.
Spider-Man better than me. I get it.
Yes, that's fair. But I'm really excited to talk about this. The people know. People that have been here for a couple of years know that Spider-Man month was a good shit on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man month 2 gonna be better. It's the Spider-Man 2 of Spider-Man months. So I'm gonna like fight
Spider month 2.
Yeah, Spider month 2.
Good. Yeah. You're a nerd.
I'm not ashamed of it at this
no,
point.
You shouldn't be. I'm not saying that.
Look at the audience I've built.
I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm a nerd too.
Yeah. So they get to Venice. He fights off Hydra Man. He meets Mysterio. Mysterio convinces Nick Fury that he comes from another Earth reality. Was it something 18? No, 616 is the main universe, and then he's like, I come from Earth 822 or some bullshit. That's not the number. But here's the thing: the multiverse is fake. There's no multiverse in this movie. There's no multiverse in the MCU. It's all bullshit. It's all fake and made up, which is awesome because Marvel is slick. Like, they know how to play the social media game. It's like, oh my God, multiverse, we're going to get this and that, and people are going to get talking. Then in this movie, they shut it down. It is not real. So there's no alternate Captain America. There's no alternate Iron Man. There's nothing. So if you're hoping for another Tony Stark, no. Now, I don't think he's really dead, but that's a topic for another.
Really?
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Interesting.
We'll talk off air because it's a really boring theory, but I have to like break it down into subsections.
Well, I've bored you a bunch, so.
Every day. So they fight Hydra Man. Mysterio basically gets Peter's trust for no reason because Peter, it's too big for Peter to handle the Herculean task of being the next Iron Man. Like, he'll go out, he'll see like pictures, murals to Iron Man. He'll see all this shit. People are also trying to make him the next Iron Man. Like, you know, it's kind of like Happy Hogan thinks it should happen. And he really does because they symbolically make him the next Iron Man. Yeah. Because in that black and red suit that you guys see in the movie, or the commercials, he makes it on a plane ride back to New York.
Which was the most unfair part of that movie because it was 100% callbacks to the first Iron Man. And I was just like, here, let me take your fifis and just, fifis are feelings.
I know that other guy, the umbrella guy, Tugs, he uses those a lot.
Oh, really? I like fifis. I have 2 Fifi shirts. You can buy them for money.
Where are they at?
Teespring. Teespring.com/store/mindless entertainment has all the shirts.
Shout out to Star Wars for Life, Jeremy's Instagram fan. She's been plugging all of our stuff. And shout out to Cesario Japan, who's been helping. He's a moderator as well. He's a big fan of the channel. Right. I got your package, by the way, man. Thank you for this Beverly Hills Cop laser discs. I'll make a video. They were so good. I called the other guys from the show and sent them videos of it. I'll show you later. Nice. I was so excited. They're Japanese laser discs. They're super cool. And they're like really mint condition.
That's very exciting.
So where does the movie really go from there? The movie actually falls apart. And that's where I think the lower score comes from because the stuff you see in the trailer is probably the first 30, 40 minutes.
Not even.
Yeah, let's say 25 minutes. 30. Yeah, the first half an hour is all the shit you see in the trailer.
Act 1 is the trailer.
And you've all seen the climax because it's on the London Bridge. But other than that, like the middle part where once Mysterio is revealed to be the villain is not in any of the trailers. It's probably the most interesting part. I think we got a super chat from Geeks and Gamers.
It looks like we did.
Jeremy, what's up? Coming at you with another video.
And today...
Should we read our super chats so we can get to Jeremy since he's here?
Okay. That's fair.
We have to respect Robert at Fun Point because he's one of the biggest supporters of World Class Bullshit. He says, "Hey, Hefe, yo, man, you get a chance to read my email on Patreon about Veterans Day. Hi, Jessi.
Hi.
Are you the Top Gun guy? Because I will go back and reread those. Like I said, I've been out of town with you for 5 days now.
Yeah, days.
It's been fun. I'll be honest, but no, I will. Veterans Day is what, November, right?
Sure.
We have a Veterans Day stream.
Yes.
If it's okay, we do that. I didn't even try to set up like a veterans like community, but I noticed a lot of our listeners were, former military. So I was just like, hey guys, you want to do something fun? And they got involved. It was a great day. I will reread your email, Rob, at Fun Point. I promise. I read all the Patreon messages. It's just been kind of crazy. And yeah, we're gonna have a Veterans Day stream every year. It's actually kind of like our thing on the channel. So when we do it, if you want to get involved, awesome. I got Top Gun at 1.2. It's a patriotic film. I should be watching the. So patriotic. We don't have time, but I want to watch Captain America and Hulk Hogan wrestling matches tomorrow. That's how I celebrate my patriotness. Somebody just say Dennis.
I like to go to Independence Day. Independence Day is my go-to for.
Oh, that is. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. I have a copy if you want to watch it tomorrow.
Yes.
I saw it in theaters as a kid. I'll never forget. It was
Right.
probably one of my favorite movie theater going experiences. Shit.
I love it.
Hold on. Captain Marvel Jeremy says, "I want Jessi to peg you on camera right now."
That's an upsetting thing to say.
Yeah, that's just not gonna happen.
That's upsetting. That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Oh, here we go. We're on double streams. Okay, I can pause it and look stupid too.
Yay! I'm not the only one.
Let me pull up the super chat window real quick because I really feel bad if I miss somebody's super chat. Kind of like
He doesn't. I do. But look, I don't get as many, so I can just read them when they happen. Also, the way I talk is conducive to that because, as Jeff is discovering quickly, I start one story and then a second one and then a third one and a fourth. I start about 8 stories at one time. And I'll finish the 8th one, then go back to the 7th, and then back to the 6th, and then it's storyception with me.
I do that intentionally too. So we've been out hanging out, doing stuff, and she'll be telling me a story, and I'll intentionally stop her, and then I'll go, now back to your story to see if she can keep it going. You're good. You can. You've never flubbed once. I'll give you that.
Because I usually do it to myself.
Okay. Anyway, Rob at Fun Point, and then Captain Marvel Jeremy. That was the right order. So no pegging. Sorry. This is a family channel.
Yeah, that's also
a lie. Yeah,
that's also called pornography.
It's just no back,
and it's not for YouTube. Also, I would.
You know, I officially have a Pornhub channel for the channel, right? I'll show it to you later.
I don't think either way. I don't think $2 would be enough in any universe. So.
No, not even in those other Mysterio worlds. Like if you pull up with like 2,000 British dollars, like 2,000 pounds. No, this does not happen.
Still no.
Nothing's going
Still
on there.
no. Not worth it.
Klaus Dork says, "Greetings, Muff Daddy. Jeff and the fair-haired lady."
I am the fair-haired lady now.
That's why I'm Jeff, so that's kind of how it goes.
Are you sure you're not the fair-haired lady? I might be Jeff.
Obi-Wan 27883 says, "Side note, how do you feel about the race swapping of another redhead with Ariel? First MJ and now Ariel. Please theorize about the redhead hate."
Oh, another social justice video.
I love the redheads.
Oh my god.
So start talking because we literally had this discussion moments before we went on air. You start.
Okay. Oh, this is definitely another social justice Wednesday video for me.
You need more Wednesdays in a week.
I know. I need so many Wednesdays. I could just release 8,000 videos on Wednesdays. It's funny because that's the thing people don't actually consider or think about. And I was talking about with Judine the other day. So I have a friend who she was telling me all about her like life and times with black hair. Which if you have never met black people, their hair is different from ours.
That is the greatest. If you've never met black people, no.
Their hair is different from ours. I say ours because everyone else is white. No, but it's interesting because there's a lot of cultural ties to it, and a lot of like, oh, that's we're talking about that, and then we got into short hair shaming because there's like short hair stigmas as well. And so the thing people forget is that when you get into identity politics, is the only identities that matter in identity politics are the ones that have been labeled and identified as minority groups that need protection. And if you talk to any redheads, like redhead erasure is a thing and they're upset about it. And it's not because like I'm represented, but it's just like
they have no souls.
They don't have souls, but it's just they're things just, like they're not as attractive as other people or they're different kind of people. Like the redheaded guys are like unattractive apparently.
Was it Prince Harry? Yeah, he's pretty scary looking.
I don't know. He also looks a lot like Carson Wentz, and I would definitely ban Carson Wentz.
I don't know who that is.
I'm so sad for you.
He's related to Pete Wentz?
He's called the Ginger Jesus in my city. No, he's the starting quarterback for the Eagles.
Oh.
He is the Ginger Jesus. He is our Lord and Savior. You will bow to him.
No.
You will want to break your kneecaps.
No. I won't bow to anybody.
No, because I'll break your kneecaps and you won't have a choice. You'll be on the ground anyway.
You're fast, but not that fast.
I'm violent.
I doubt
that. Anyway. Where were we?
I don't know. You were going on about Ginger Jesus and
but that's the whole thing is that there is this stuff where like people who are gingers, they will like count the number of gingers you see like in a movie ever, because they don't exist. They don't.
No, the thing is though with me is I don't like race swapping of any kind. So I don't want white Shaft. I don't want white Axel Foley. You want to know? I don't know what I'd be more offended at if they made Axel Foley white or James Bond black. I'd freak out either way, probably equally, but no one gives a shit about Axel Foley. So my point is, I don't like any race swapping. Ariel, the Little Mermaid, if it's a live action remake of the Disney animated feature, she should look like a live action version. Aladdin did it right.
Yes.
They kind of look like the people.
And I agree with that. And that's the only thing.
And the genie's blue, so who gives a shit who plays them?
I don't have an issue with race swapping per se, unless if their image is iconic, then yes. If their image is not iconic, I don't care.
The Little Mermaid's iconic. I've never even seen the movie.
Sure thing.
How? Why? Let me tell you why I've never seen it.
Stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete?
That's enough for the copyright.
I also don't sound enough like the Thing to be the Thing.
It's clobbering time. No, I don't care about the Little Mermaid. On principle, I care about this only because
she's white.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. And there's a golden dick on the cover of the VHS box.
There is. I have that. I love that.
No, I don't care about Little Mermaid, but I care about your point, Obi-Wan 2783. Just adapt it. Now, I will say, I'm not sold on Zendaya playing MJ, Michelle Johnson, but she was a lot better in this movie. She was like, if you're worried about the shit she says about I'm pretty, so I have value, that's it. That is the only, well, if you call that stupid, but the only type of thing.
But it was a joke.
Yes, but then,
the whole thing was a joke.
But she was more like that in the first movie.
Yeah.
She's more like a traditional female character in this, and she's not, ever in distress, really.
What is a traditional female character?
A normal person.
Oh, okay.
She's not a walking, talking.
Okay, so traditional now just means a human being.
Yes, she's a human being because she shows emotion. She doesn't try to get revenge on Peter. Like, so they go to an opera house in Prague, and she wants to sit with him. Like, you can tell they both like each other. Everybody's in on it, and they're feeling it out. So Peter is obligated to Nick Fury to go on a mission in Prague, and MJ and him, or Peter and MJ, want to sit together, but Peter's got to go to work. So she takes that as a normal thing. She doesn't get angry and try to get back at him. She goes and follows him. And she knows he's Spider-Man. She figured it out, which kind of annoys me. I'll admit, I don't like everybody knowing he's Spider-Man. But then again, that post-credit sequence, everybody knows now. I can't wait to get to that part. I do these things linearly. I can't speak, sorry. Linearly. But sometimes I hate that I do these things linear because I'm dying to talk about the post-credit sequence. I don't want to, jump ahead. By the way, Jeremy, thank you very much if you're still watching. We're going to read your super chat, but you're cool. We
love you.
I like you a lot. You're a cool dude.
I love you, Jeremy. Platonically as a friend.
I would hug you, sober or drunk. You're a good dude. But
you're a good human being. We respect you. We respect you.
Yes, respect with a K.
We respect
Birdman style. I know who that is. Not that white. So if we go back to the film, let's just get to the film real quick because there's a lot I want to talk about Spider-Man, and we're going to do that on Jessi's stream in a moment. So the way the way the movie works is Spider-Man gets trapped by Mysterio in Berlin. They have the coolest segment in almost any Spider-Man movie where it's like hallucination. Now, in the comics, Mysterio used like a gas and people would hallucinate, or he would use projectors. Like if you watch the cartoon of Spider-Man from when we were kids, he had these little square projector cubes, and you would click it and throw it, and like a dinosaur would appear, or this or that. And now the way they do that is they use this remember Barf in Civil War? Yes. Barf.
Well, that's what it is.
Binary augmented reframing something or whatever. So if you remember how Iron Man looked at his younger self as a kid in Civil War, they bring that technology back. It turns out that Quentin Beck, a.k.a. Mysterio, a.k.a. Jake Gyllenhaal, the actor, was the man behind it. And so Tony Stark took his technology, his life's work, and made it a therapy session. So that is Mysterio's motivation in this film. Not necessarily that he wants to be evil. He kind of wants revenge on Tony Stark. So even in death, Tony Stark is still paying for his crimes, but I will say they're all rich. Like Tony Stark bought the technology for $600 million and he has a team of people. So if you remember in the first Iron Man, they go all the way back. The doctor that says, Tony Stark built this in a cave with scraps. Well, I'm not Tony Stark. Peter Billingsley, aka Ralph from A Christmas Story, is in this movie. Good job. I'm happy to see it. I love that film. And then you basically find out that after Peter bequeaths the Edith glasses to Mysterio, Mysterio's secretly evil. And now Mysterio makes all of his visions through drones. So they really modernize it, and I don't know if that's big enough for me to be excited, but I also feel like it's contradictory for me to bitch that Spider-Man movie should be smaller. So I'm at a, you know what I'm saying? Like, should it be drones? Should I be happy? Or should I say I want something more epic?
I didn't have a problem with drones.
It was just weird because like my friend has a drone, so he talks about flying all the time. I'm like, yeah, Spider-Man's gonna fight this drone.
But they're so cool. Different.
I know Phil's is just
and that's also like with the times, so
It's cool. It honestly, it's pretty neat. It's a very basic plot, but it works. So if you're out there and you're thinking, should I, buy into it? I do, because I will say it makes it semi-realistic, because it has like the barf technology, and then it has weapons on the drones, and so through the weaponry and the visual projections, it looks like Mysterio's blowing shit up. There's molten lava. There's this. There's that. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, they fight the Molten Man in Prague. Spider-Man goes to Germany. He has to recoup himself. Oh, so he gets beat up by Mysterio. Then he gets hit by a train. Then he wakes up in in the Netherlands in jail.
That scene.
Was that the funniest part of the movie?
That scene. It might have been.
That was so good.
It might have been.
Don't you love how they like paint Europeans as so polite in certain things?
Well,
Well, have you ever seen National Lampoon's European Vacation?
Yeah.
Remember how every time in Britain Clark hits somebody, oh, sorry, you're an American. It's a mistake. Here, take a souvenir for you. Go back to New York City or wherever. Like, they paint these people from the Netherlands as just like...
Well, yeah, they purposely lean into that. Like, I don't know if people from the Netherlands are supposed to be nice, but these ones are. That was
they destroyed the tulips, though. That pissed them off.
I know. That was such an absurdist scene, though. That's why I loved it. Also, that part where it's like we've been hovering over a tulip field.
Yeah, for 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
So look at Spider-Man makes a phone call to Happy Hogan. Happy Hogan gets involved. Spider-Man goes from Happy Hogan in the Netherlands they fly to London, where the class is, because Mysterio figures out that a couple kids in his class know his plan, so he's going to kill them all. Like, he's just going to wipe them out with a drone strike. And Spider-Man.
Side note, callback to Back in Black.
That was cool
from
shit.
The first time.
You cheered.
I did. I got excited for that one.
So if you remember,
I cheered before they started playing it because I knew what they were going to play.
The thing is, you cheered and you had good foresight. So remember in the first Iron Man, folks, how Tony Stark puts the like CGI or whatever, that the computer generated glove on his hand, and he does that. Spider-Man does that. So he puts his hand on the thing, and then it plays Back in Black.
Well, that was the moment when I cheered he said, Happy says, you worry about the suit, I'll worry about the music. And the second he said that, I knew what song he was going to put on. That was when I cheered. He's like, I'll worry about the music. I was like, yes!
It was cool. It was very, very cool. And basically, Spider-Man goes to London. He fights Mysterio and the drones and saves the day. And then they go back to New York City. Now, I will say the movie had surprising depth with Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Because Flash Thompson, the whole movie, he's trying to be an Instagram star. Hey, Flash Mob, what's up?
Yeah, or live streaming or whatever. Yeah.
And he comes home to America, and he seems so cool, and his family doesn't have time for him. They didn't pick him up. The driver picked him up.
So rough. The whole, because he even has, when they're all like sharing, he has this little moment of truth of like, all I do is spend time on the internet so that I can get likes. So like, all right, that sounded like a narcissistic thing, but then he comes back and it's like, oh, mom could, or was dad or mom couldn't pick me up. No, they didn't have time.
But look at this movie. This movie is written better than Homecoming by a mile.
Yeah.
Look, if you loved Michael Keaton, like Michael Keaton's a better villain. The Vulture was better than Mysterio every day. Please tell them why you hated the Mysterio scene. I'm sorry. She grabbed me and was like, I fucking hate this. The writing has just hit the wall.
So right when you hit that moment of like, we have now gotten through everything we already knew about this film from the trailers. You then bounce into, and I'm going to do the abridged. I'm going to paraphrase here. I'm going to really let loose on mine.
That's fair enough, because this
is what the people want. And they, instead of having any kind of good writing for this reveal, they literally were like, you know that part in film writing class where you learn not how to do over expository dialogue? Let's just tear that chapter out of the book. They just sit down and they go, let me literally have a 10-minute scene of Jake Gyllenhaal explaining to everybody his entire plan, the entire backstory, every way they got to where they were. And the only thing that was remotely legit about it was the fact they actually showed you flashbacks, but it's him just narrating this. It's like, wow.
It felt like The Incredibles.
It was also, I mean, that was my biggest complaint about the writing in Captain Marvel is it's all tell, don't show. They just explain everything in it. I hate obviously expository dialogue. And also, like, Jake Gyllenhaal just forgot how to act the first half of the movie.
He's a completely different person, like the normal Jake. Like, you see Nightcrawler, right?
Yeah.
That movie was awesome. Ooh. I was sick when I saw that, and it made me feel better.
Did you ever see Nocturnal Animals?
Never even heard of it. Should I check it out?
That was Jake Gyllenhaal, right? I'm like 80%.
We should give each other weird movie recommendations, like later tonight.
The thing that Nocturnal Animals was Jake Gyllenhaal was J.K. Simmons.
Really?
Not J.K. Simmons. Sorry, other weird actor that I love.
So you're kind of spoiling this movie.
No. Other weird actor that I love. Michael Shannon.
Oh, he's great. He's scary. They're both scary. Like that stare.
Exactly.
Like,
that's why. Yeah.
I'm probably a foot taller than both of them. I'm uncomfortable even thinking about being in the same room.
Michael Shannon delights me though.
Oh,
like
that's
he's
cool.
Weird in the way that just. I
would have to pull a Bane with him if I ever got scared. You know, hand on the shoulder. Think it gives you power over me?
You think that gives you power over me?
So every once in a while on Good Morning Pop Culture, I'll do a Bane voice, but my trick to doing the Bane voice is like closing one nostril, putting my hand over like, yeah, how are you? And just keep talking about random shit. There you go, folks. Now I'm on camera. You know what I do when I'm not on camera.
Hooray. Talk about weird shit.
Yeah.
It's true. I can vouch for that. But yeah, no, that was just
it
was just a scene of painful. Let me explain to you exactly what's happening. And that's the whole thing is his whole, and I guess it was him trying to pretend to be the good guy, even though he's the bad guy earlier, but it just felt like he was reading lines off of a piece of paper.
He felt very forced as a hero.
Oh,
like weird.
This was the first thing I said. I leaned over and I was like, did Jake Gyllenhaal forget how to act?
Yeah.
And even in his villainy moments, a lot of that seemed forced too.
He's channeling his inner Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I guess so.
It's not time for my mom to call me. Sorry, Mom.
Bad mom. Also, a happy almost birthday, Mom.
Yeah, in 2 days, so happy birthday.
But yeah, no, that's
I'm gonna send her a message. You keep talking real quick about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, and that was one of my biggest complaints about the film in general was just his performance because I've seen what Jake Gyllenhaal can do. I know what he can do.
He's come a long way since Bubble Boy. Like seriously, I know that sounds like a joke, but like I remember Jake Gyllenhaal growing up as like Bubble Boy. Then he was in like Donnie Darko, which was I hadn't seen it until later because nobody really did that. I still haven't seen it. Really? Mm-hmm. You should.
I'll watch it eventually.
But it's one of those movies. It's like I'm trying to think what it's like. Like you know, Pulp Fiction. You can analyze it from different levels.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that because it's like it's weird. I like it a lot.
Side note: I really think you and I need to go on like a vacation to just like a hotel room and just watch movies for a week straight.
Do you want to quit your fencing and just start that right now? It'd be pretty awesome. This is my job.
Yeah, I know.
This is your real good job.
We'll like meet in the middle of the country somewhere. We'll just go to Montana. It'll be great.
Hold on, my mom constantly keeps calling me back.
You
scoot up real quick. I'm gonna get out of frame real quick.
I'm just gonna beat your live stream for a little bit. Hello, what's up? Hey, Jessi, the world-class bullshitter now. Yeah. So now this is a lot of pressure, guys. Yeah, that was honestly, and that was one of the other issues I have with this film as well. Is so Jake Gyllenhaal, he's your villain, and you don't even know he is the villain until, as we said, 25 minutes. Well, you know he's the villain because Mysterio, but he's not revealed as the villain. He's not doing villain things until later on in the film. So you don't. It's kind of like the issues with Iron Man 3, where you have like, what was it, the man something, and the Mandarin, and who's just like a straw man basically, and that's the same with the Elemental. So there's no substance to that villain whatsoever. So you get the reveal later. So now you have less time to develop your villain, which is why that scene was bullshit, because you're going to give me, we had Thanos, who was our last villain that we defeated in the MCU was Thanos, a villain who has been teased since the first Avengers film. He's been teased. We've had his presence teased since then. We've had him built up and his backstory and his existence while seeing so very little of him until Infinity War and having this incredible cult of personality around him because of those descriptions. And then he drops in Infinity War and you're like, holy shit. Now to a film that we don't have our villain. Our villain doesn't develop until 25 minutes into the film. And at that moment, it's a speech. It's a toast on a bar where he's shouting out the various people on his team who helped him get there in this completely expository moment.
Another beer?
Yes.
Same one?
Sure. What was that? Passion fruit. I'll try that.
We're gonna switch. I'm gonna take one of yours and one of mine.
Sounds good. The Great Lakes one was the one that had the bacony flavor to it. There you go.
I can see what has two missing.
Okay. Well, no, I've had one of each.
Oh, my bad.
Mm-hmm. All right, you want your chair back?
I'll switch.
Now we'll look more proportionate this way.
Even though that's not true at all.
It's not at all. I mean, proportionate will look slightly more like real life.
I look super really white.
I transitioned, by the way, from Jake Gyllenhaal's shitty acting in this movie to yes, I'm a man now. Well, it's not an airport.
It's 2019. I
I'm
respect your decisions.
I'm only a man in airports. To the disappointing villainy, because that's a big thing for me. That's a huge thing for me. Is like, as I just said, we had so many years to build up and tease Thanos. That was the last villain the MCU dealt with. The last one.
And then we go to Mysterio, and it's kind of lame.
It's a letdown, and one of my and yeah, it's very lame. And it's so abrupt from him being like, I'm pretending to be the good guy, to being like, I'm a giant asshole. And it felt like they did a lot of these little things, like him pointing the laser targets at his team in this one scene where they're developing the monster monster projection for their big finale.
Attack, was it kind of odd too, like how they actually had the balls to play off London attacks after what's happened over the last couple of years? Do you think that's refreshing, or do you think it's kind of in bad taste? Because a lot of these Marvel movies play it safe, and they try not to talk about real world events.
They do. I mean, it's hard because it's been the trope since the dawn of time that like the big main event, the big nasty event, has to happen in some iconic city. And if you're in America, it's always New York. New York's always constantly getting destroyed.
There's no such place as Sokovia. That was the end game.
Well, Sokovia, yeah, but
that was stupid. By the way, I hate Age of Ultron. The more I think about it,
it's my least favorite of
the MCU, the Avengers movies.
By a mile.
Yeah, it's
by
not
a
even fair.
landslide. Because I mean, you have Avengers, one of the best movies, one of my favorite movies. Period.
Yeah.
Infinity War, Endgame, excellent duo back and forth. I know I like Endgame more than you do, but
I still like it though. If I gave it an 8 out of 10, I still think it's a pretty high score.
And Age of Ultron, I think I watched it maybe twice.
Well, like I told you, I got it for Christmas of 2015. Since 2015, for 4 years, I've probably watched it 7 times. I've watched Infinity War. I shit you not. No, I watched Infinity War over 30 times between when it hit Netflix and when I went and saw Endgame, because that's just a movie I put on. I was so obsessed with Infinity War.
My friend John from Cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, if I ever introduce you, you'll be best friends, and all you will do is sit around and drink beers and watch Marvel movies.
I could use another one of those because Dion's always busy.
John has a day job right now, but he's never busy. He's never busy on the weekends. So
maybe we'll have a new bullshitter for a week. Well, that's you.
For a week?
To be fair, we did Christian. Okay, so in Chicago, we hit it off really well. That's why I'm here. And we christened you the 5th bullshitter, and we moved Channel Dad Brian Lape out of the picture. So, Lape, I know you're not watching because you hate Marvel movies and you'd never go see Spider-Man. Jessi has taken your spot. So
he knows this.
Yeah, but in case he's watching.
He wanted to make a video passing the torch officially to me.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was on board.
Oh.
His whole thing was like, we need to make a video where I pass that torch of the 5th bullshit.
He brewed beer for the channel.
And I know. You were supposed to bring it to me.
I couldn't make it.
You're a loser.
No, I'm not.
I hate you.
No, you don't.
Lies. All lies.
So we were still on the same super chat from Obi-Wan about redheads, right? Dr. Coffinail's cool dude, met you in person. He says, well, where the hell is the spider sense in the last film?
Yeah.
Like we said, it develops with puberty.
But it's here now, so don't worry about it. Speaking of puberty, Tom Holland finally went through it at the tender age of 20, whatever he is.
20-something. I will say, Dr. Coffinails, I know you personally. You're an older dude. You probably remember classic real Spider-Man.
Stop doxing Dr. Coffinails.
He's a doctor. He'll deal with it. So, so Dr. Coffinails, you clearly remember, like in the first Spider-Man movie, how basically he gets bit and he gets all the powers relatively soon. So in the comic book, he's at a science expo. He gets bit. He's walking across the street lightheaded, and he develops spider sense instantly. So if you're like one of those purists, like I am, like he should have that. That's his first power, because the web shooter is something he develops like days later, kind of thing. But no, Dr. Coffinails, yeah, he should have had it in the last film, but it's here now. I feel like Marvel and Sony both know that they need long-term Spider-Man, so they're going to give it to us in the Tom Holland 3rd movie. Like this one, you could almost wipe this one away minus the last scene.
Yeah. Again, the one thing I would keep for it is the way they developed Peter Parker just as a character, just his maturity. He
has now become my 2nd favorite Spider-Man actor, even though he was already my 2nd favorite actor, because I hate Andrew Garfield. You suck, dude.
He's pretty now.
I'm trying to be fair. Plus, Spider-Man's not that kind of character to me.
No, he's not supposed to be pretty. That's actually made it wrong. That's actually was a complaint I had about those Spider-Mans. Like, Andrew Garfield is too pretty to be Spider-Man.
Well, it depends which version you read.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, so the first 30 8 issues or one dude and draws them like himself. He's real dorky.
Mhm.
But this guy named John Romita comes in and everyone's beautiful. Even Aunt May and Aunt Anna look better than normal. And Aunt Anna's Mary Jane's aunt. But everyone's attractive. Everyone's got, great bodies, great perfect hair. Yeah, they all have tits. Well, it's a comic book trope. You can have a waist this big and tits this big.
Like Captain Marvel before Brie Larson.
Yeah, that's true. But she always had like really good legs, so that was kind of her defining trait. Because she wore like this like
she had
thing.
See, that's the thing. That's what was actually funny, which is why I was really one of the many reasons I was upset with that casting choice is that Captain Marvel's body is like if I were a superhero, that would be my body. She's hard, she's tight, she's got crazy hips and thighs and ass.
You're talking like the idealized version of the comic book, not Brie Larson.
No, the comic.
You're built nothing like Brie Larson.
No. That's what I'm saying.
My arm is like Brie Larson. Well, my arm has more curvature.
It does. Yeah. No, the comic book Captain Marvel, and even in all the many iterations with the short blonde hair and stuff like that. I'm like, there's even versions you can find where she practically has my haircut, and I'm like, that.
I'm so glad you're the opposite though, the character.
Like as a person.
Yes, as a person.
Yeah, and then when they cast her, I was like, okay. I guess the big booty is not in the MCU.
Well, Scarlett Johansson in the first Avengers. I don't know if it was padded or she was just.
No, that's her. Yeah. ScarJo just has boot. Yeah, she got the boot.
That was my favorite part when she's talking to Loki. Banner's the game or whatever.
That scene is always excellent.
That whole movie is really underrated. She goes,
"Thank you for your cooperation."
Yeah.
And that moment for me too, specifically because Scarlett Johansson actually in that, and one of the things I really respect about her Black Widow is that she spends that whole character, the entire character, when she does that, she lowers her voice in that. I don't know if it's a natural voice, that maybe she just stops raising it because apparently 70% of women make their voice sound higher pitched to sound more girly or something like that.
Never heard that
statistic. Like that. What's right? 90% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Well, 100% of Jeff don't care.
Whatever. The point is that I really, really love that about her character that she has as the Black Widow. She has a lower voice because it's like I don't have to do this.
Well, to be fair, Scarlett Johansson's voice has always been like that.
No, if you watch a lot of her other movies,
I do. I had watched the Nanny Diaries because I think Scarlett Johansson's hot. Ghost World. She has a very deep voice in that.
Not the same voice that it is.
To be fair, she was also like 12 years older.
She has a very different voice in this one than she has in any of other roles.
I'll go with it. Yes, I don't want to. One of my favorite parts with her is in Age of Ultron when she's driving the motorcycle. She's like, pew, 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 trying to make that. I love her. I'm sad she's gone.
I hate Scarlett Johansson. I love her as Black Widow.
I don't know anything about her personally, but I've always liked her since I was a little kid.
I haven't even liked her roles and stuff like that. But I respect her as an actor and when I have to. But I really love her Black Widow. Side note, finish Super Chats drop streams?
Yes, we'll do that. So
I'm gonna pee.
You pee. I'm gonna read. I'm not even gonna get up because I'm lazy. I'm just gonna sit here. Okay. So Bruce Lombardo says Pepperidge Farm remembers. You remember the days of good Spider-Man films. I am gonna do my J. Jonah Jameson thing.
Oh yeah, on here. Yeah.
And then we're gonna jump to yours and we'll go into it more. Yes, I said J. Jonah Jameson. Alpha Terranema says, what beer is that? Bacon aftertaste sounds lit. It's Great Lakes Brewing Company, Edmund Fitzgerald Porter. So I'm not getting a lot of bacon. No, I don't get bacon, but I get deliciousness. So Alpha Terranema, I suggest you check it out. Geeks and Gamers says, two of the coolest peeps I know. Jeremy, thank you very much, and thank you for all that you're doing behind the scenes. Everyone give Jeremy some love on social media. Dude is working 24/7. I wish I had the same amount of, I do have the same amount of time. I just don't have the same amount of energy that Jeremy does. So he is the heart and soul of what we're doing. So shout out to you, Jeremy. Matt Joseph says, you guys want a digital code for the Raimi movies? I do. Matt Joseph, I'm going to take charge and say, email us at worldclassbs@mail.com, thebestmail.com. I would love that. I kind of need to have copies of Spider-Man 2 on my phone at all times. That is the best Spider-Man flick ever. Love it. It's my favorite superhero movie. Orbital 1970 Goat says, so I'm not the only one who jumps back and forth among multiple conversations topics.
I'm going to move you because I'm going to start setting up for...
Oh, yeah. No problem.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks, fam. That's like a thing kids say.
That's not for you.
So I'm not going to say that.
That's my thing.
Whatever. Okay.
Bruce Lombardo says, we already read that. No, we didn't read Bruce Lombardo. I wish Jessi would go back to her first internet job, reading ASMR scripts on Twitch, then flipping her hair into the microphone.
God, I wish that was a thing I did. I would make so much more money.
When did you never did that?
No, it's not a real thing.
Well, Bruce Lombardo's a trusted member of the World Class Bullshitters community.
Bruce Lombardo's part of my community.
How the hell you have 16 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down? How do you have 2 thumbs down?
I don't know. I'm that
People
special.
Dicks.
They
Paul Stork says also, cracking up a cold one with the boys. By cold one, I mean moonshine. Plus, love the Jeff and Jessi duo. Only JJ I approve of.
Yeah.
We rock.
Sweet.
We had moonshine yet. Well, you had a
I
moonshine
had
drink.
moonshine. I had dosed moonshine Dracos.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you are gonna have to drink moonshine when we do that thing in Vegas, though.
Okay, so
we'll take care. I'm trying to think of it. If all of the rest of the people I intend to bring on that can carry you all together, and I'm gonna say maybe.
Okay, so full transparency. The only time I ever blacked out drunk was when I drank moonshine. And if you're listening, folks, make sure you ask that question when Dion's around because he was there and he remembers how I projectile vomited into the garbage can.
I heard the story.
Yeah, you heard the story. Yeah, but I know you better, so it's easier to not tell a good story and get away with it. Tyler Preston says, are all of Spidey's villains now Tony Stark's ex-employees wanting revenge? Also, when did Tony have a daughter with Pepper?
Did you not see any?
Endgame, he had a daughter with Pepper.
That's definitely that happened.
I would be pissed if the next wave of Spider-Man villains were all. Oh no! I just had a visual.
No.
What if fucking the Lizard was a? Remember the Intellicrops? What if it was like somebody that had worked for Kirk Connors had worked for Tony Stark for decades, and his death? Oh no! I love Spider-Man. Don't fuck it up. Now, I will say this. One of my complaints with the Raimi films was the fact that everyone had a personal relationship with Peter and, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Sandman should have just been a non-factor. Mm-hmm. Like, he shouldn't have been the one to kill Uncle Ben. Spider-Man 3, I have a complaint. We also had Green Goblin worked. Both Green Goblins. Yes. Venom did not work. No. Doc Ock was the best.
Doc Ock was hands down
because he was like he was like older Peter, the intellectual level.
Yeah.
And like anybody that wants to complain about the lack of science in the Raimi films, just watch when he talks about Bernoulli and the curves of quickest descent and all this other shit. Yeah. There was science talk, but this one did do a great job.
They did the science words.
Yes, they did do a great job. Laura stole my fan fiction story. Right. Laura Ryan stole my fan fiction story.
Good job.
Yeah. Here. By the way, thanks for changing your name back. I appreciate that because I think I made a comment on
you did, and then it came back.
She says, "Love you too. Have a great 4th. We will. We're actually going to have a lot of fun.
Laura. We have so much fun tomorrow.
I'm just going to do this to be nice. I don't normally cut my hands. No. Is that right?
Yeah. There you go. Okay. I always look through my eye because it's creepy.
Wasn't it Lady Gaga that does this or whatever?
I don't know.
I used to like her in college.
I never did. Now you can hit me.
Not on camera.
It's really weird. Like you would fit in with literally every single one of my fencing world friends.
The only problem, and I'll say this on it, this isn't really a problem. They want to talk about fencing, so they just ignore me, even though I'm literally the elephant in the room.
It's not that.
I'm not taking it personally.
It's not that they're ignoring you. It's just that they're talking about their fencing problems.
It's shit that I don't care about, and I'm okay.
But it's not that you don't care about. It's like you have no context for it. Also,
I want to bitch to them about. Did you know the inker on this comic book was blah blah blah? They'll go, what the fuck are you talking about?
You should do it.
I'll say that's what it sounds like when you talk about reffing.
You should do that.
So let's talk about the best part of this movie. The part that literally made me cheer. The part that I have not felt this excited since
puberty.
It was more of a journey, not just one moment.
Okay.
To become a man, a Spider-Man fan. No, okay, so there. Later. Anyway, so there are a few moments in Marvel films where I legitimately cheer, and you were next to me. I screamed. I was that guy in the theater. So what is it? What is this thing? Well, I said it by mistake. J. Jonah Jameson is in this film, and he's played by J.K. Simmons,
which is excellent. Let me set the floor. No, you don't have to be quiet. Let me set the floor. So, folks, we just came off of this pretty fun movie. It was a good time. I was there. You were there. A lot of us were there. It was a pretty packed house, honestly. Yeah.
So the movie ends with Spider-Man and Mary Jane. No. It shows them swing off.
They swing off at the end of the movie. Movie ends, they swing off, and she's going, I hate this.
And then it ends, and it plays the first set of credits. It's to Vacation by the Go-Go's, right? No, Go-Go's. B-52's have dudes in it. Go-Go's, it's a good song. Reminds me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where you got to watch the Jersey Shore episode with me when we're drunk. You'll like it, trust me.
I probably will. I don't doubt that I will.
They get propositioned by meth dealers.
Amazing.
It's a great show. Anyway, song plays, everything's fine. First post-credit sequence. This is my favorite post-credit sequence of any Marvel flick. I don't care. Shawarma's great. Thanos was great. This beats all of it because it's a personal love shawarma. Well, anyway, shows Spider-Man and MJ swing. He brings her down to the street level. She's like, let's never do that again. He goes to jump off and swing away. All of a sudden, Madison Square Garden starts playing a huge video. This is the best part of the fucking movie. This is why I'm excited to talk about this movie.
Side note, did you actually read Jeremy's super chat out loud?
I did when you were pissing.
Okay, got it.
It was
Carry
mighty
on.
stream, mighty super chat.
Carry on.
And I gave him a nice compliment. He's the heart and soul of what we're doing. Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart.
He's a good guy.
Such a softie.
Yeah, big old softie. Anyway, so Spider-Man is sitting on a light pole looking at the Madison Square Garden. Looking at Madison Square Garden, there's like a transmission, and it's this guy, this random white guy, and he starts talking about news of Spider-Man, this, that, and the other, and Mysterio, and they show this clip. And they said the clip comes from the controversial news website, The Daily Bugle. And J.K. Simmons plays J. Jonah Jameson once again. So if you're sitting here listening and you've been watching this whole stream because you're a cool fan of the channel, when J.K. Simmons' voice popped up, I didn't have to see because I know his voice. I fucking threw my arms up and went, yes! Much louder than anybody else in the theater. This was the moment I lived for because there is no, like, seriously, answer this question. Seriously. Name a better superhero. A better comic book movie actor casting. That's how I'm going to phrase it. Who does a better job casting a comic book role, actor-wise? Because it's not Robert Downey Jr. It's nobody. It's J.K. Simmons.
I'm not going to fight you because you'll actually resort to real fighting and then I'll lose.
No, don't make me look like that guy on the internet.
No, but I'll start it. It's fine.
No, you will.
Mm-hmm.
Another wrestling match. I'll beat you again. So
you will. That's how science works.
That's how leverage works. So anyway, folks,
physics
seriously,
works.
J.K. Simmons is playing J. Jonah Jameson again. This goes to show me one thing, that they do listen to the MCU fans. Everybody wanted him to come back. Everybody wanted him to play the character again, and he does. Now, difference is, first off, he's bald. He has a weird mustache, so he looks a little different. And here's the controversial part that's going to piss off some people, but I love it. He is Alex Jones. They have the same font for the Daily Bugle's InfoWars, the same background. J. Jonah Jameson is now the modern-day Alex Jones. And it is so weird, but it works.
But it also works.
And that's not even the weirdest part. The weirdest, the craziest, and best part is that Mysterio filmed his death.
That was cool. And so that was a nice little, that was actually a great little moment of foreshadowing where you have Christmas story guy
Peter
doing the
Billings,
upload.
yeah.
And you're like, what's that about? Are we gonna find out? Are we gonna find out? And that's what it is. It's this, he's created a story around his demise. It was his contingency plan, because that was actually funny, because that's even another reference he made earlier too about let's move to plan B or something like that. Like this guy had all of the contingency plans, which is a great element of his character that we didn't explore. I'm going to rant about him a bunch in a minute on my channel.
Make sure you on Facebook send me the link to this because I'll put it in my chat in a minute.
Dope.
So the thing is though, the Alex Jones parallel is great. The J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons role is fantastic, but what is announced is the fact that he exposes Spider-Man's secret identity to everybody.
And they tease you like he's not going to do it because they cut out the feed for a second. His name is, and then it comes back, and he does it, and you're like,
then the fucking movie ends. Well, there's another post-credit sequence, and we'll start talking about that on Jessi's channel.
Sure, it's not that exciting.
Yeah, but no, it actually kind of is because don't sell yourself short. This is a game.
It's so exciting.
It's so exciting. No, but
excitingest.
Folks, seriously, I mean it. The J.K. Simmons scene is, with the exception of like other Raimi Spider-Man moments, this is my favorite Spider-Man post-Tobey Maguire moment. It was incredible, and they did everything right. I loved it. I can't wait for the next one because everyone knows his identity.
I know.
J. Jonah Jameson is in the world as J.K. Simmons. They gave me what I wanted more than anything else, and I'll admit I like the new costume, the black and red.
I do like it. I'm down.
Now,
with it.
I'll get nerdy on your stream, but we'll talk about where it comes from.
Get nerdy with it.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan 2783 sent in 2 super chats. Thank you very much, man. Jeff, Patrick Stewart or Samuel L. Jackson? Nick Fury was modeled after Sam. Yes, he was. Ultimate Comics #1 or the Ultimates, excuse me. Nick Fury is based off Samuel L. Jackson, and he said, "I won't sue you if you make the movie and hire me." That's what happened, and look where we are. Best Nick Fury? Only Nick Fury. Well, Hasselhoff played ones. Those are good ones, though. Yeah. Shout out to our Doctor Who fans. Obi-Wan also says, to be fair, J.K. Simmons is that same level. J.K. Simmons is great. I will still go with Samuel L. Jackson. I've always liked Samuel L. Jackson more than Patrick Stewart. I have respect for Professor Xavier. I have respect for all the roles that he's played that I see. He plays He played King Richard in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Is that the name of the king? But he's the king in that movie. The king of it.
So the thing with Patrick Stewart is a technically better actor.
Oh yeah.
Nick Fury or Samuel L. Jackson is more. He makes you feel more. He definitely makes you feel more. I think
Samuel Jackson's a lot of fun. I remember being a kid where Samuel L. Jackson was like, the guy in what's the shark movie? Deep Blue Sea that got his arm bitten off, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, no. Dude, you know the full deal with that movie. He was supposed to be a much bigger character in that film, and he like set up basically the way it was. They could only afford him for like that one scene.
That scene traumatized. Like we joked about Jaws. That one scene in Deep Blue Sea bothers me more than Jaws.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't like dismemberment in shark movies because there's no lightsaber that's gonna cut your hand off.
In real life, not
but a shark can rip your arm off.
Yes.
Let's see. Anthony Scioli says tag scene should have been before the credits. Best end. I agree. Luckily, we can easily edit it. You don't need a good editor. You could literally cut out the credits, put that scene together, and make your own kind of Spider-Man. So when the 4K version releases on digital, I think I'll cut my own ending to Spider-Man.
Really?
It's not gonna be hard. Editors are okay. They don't really matter too much. Yeah.
No, really, really good editors can do really, really good things.
Sometimes they take too much time and sometimes fucking ruin it.
No, that wasn't a really good editor though. No, really, really talented editors can do incredible things. Like you should check out LA Cheesesteak Reviews because I have an incredible editor, and he takes 30-something minutes of rambling of me and my friends rambling and turns into a tight ass episode, just like Jeff's butthole.
That's a compliment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Because you don't get fucked in the butt a lot, as we discussed at the beginning of this stream. Callback.
It's full circle. The circle is not complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Now you're the one with the tight bottle.
That is. I bet you there's going to be like a stupid super chat in the next stream about that.
Probably. You mean on this stream?
Yeah. Well, folks, here's the thing. I'm not going away. I know we got people that love us and that want more world-class bullshitters, more mindless entertainment. So if you're slick, what you want to do is this is a dual stream. Currently, I am live streaming on Jessi Milestone's channel as we speak. Hi, everybody. So as soon as I get the link together, because for some reason the Wi-Fi sucks here.
It has only enough energy to stream one thing, not to load the Book of Faces.
Ooh, you got some interesting super chats.
I already have 3 super chats.
One of them's from a boy, Logan Michael. He is probably... Logan Michael, when I'm in your neck of the woods, we're going to hang out, have a cream soda because you're not old enough to drink, and we're going to talk about Batman 89 toys. So there you go. Let me drop this link in the chat right now. I'd like everybody to join us.
I would like that too.
Avant-garde with a new aesthetic, and help out Jessi Milestone get 1 million views on that video one day. That could happen.
Oh, yay! It will happen.
I got my first 1 million viewed video when I was close to your numbers. Seriously, so let's make it happen. So, folks, right there in the chat. Salvador, what's up, man? Good talking to you. Salvador is going to be on my channel on July 10th, which is next Wednesday. So, folks, I'm also going to have more in-depth streams, one-on-one. Won't be on camera due to my arrangement, but if anyone ever wondered...
his face.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with my face.
I like my face a lot.
I did, too. I like my teeth, no cavities.
I like my eyes.
That's probably your best feature, but anyway, we'll talk off air about that.
You see my butt, don't lie.
Yeah. Anyway, folks.
In pants. Let me clarify. In pants. Inside of pants.
And other things weren't in pants. Anyway, we'll talk later.
And behind skirts.
Anyway.
What else have you seen my butt?
Can we say it on air? No, you don't.
No, say it. Well, once you shut your sound, you can say it on my stream. That's fine.
I can say it on my stream too.
Okay, whatever.
The boobs popped out when you're. Never mind. Anyway, so folks, we'll be back.
And other things was not my butt. And other things, well, you saw my. When did my tits pop out?
Did I get you Friday or Thursday?
Friday.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning?
You were fucked up. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching.
Was that like sleeping or was that like...
No, it was a wide awake. We were talking. Anyway.
Did I just like take off my shirt?
Folks, we will be back next time with more here on World Class Bullshitters. I'm going to do a more coherent review. Jessi and I are here on location. We're having a great time.
We are. We're going to finish this. We're going to finish this conversation on my stream.
We are going to her stream to finish the conversation right now. So I'm not going anywhere. The link is in the chat. Join us. I'm going to post it again. Tons of people here. Show Jessi some love. Make sure you're subscribed to her channel all the time. She puts out great content. And I'll be back next time with more. So as always, be excellent to each other.